watching NotesIn9.
Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 105, Introduction to the SSJS Debugger. Program not working? Time to bug out. Okay, before we get into the show, just a couple slides that I've been showing. Here's the resources that I provide at NotesIn9.com, index.notesin9.com if you're not using IE. I'm working on it. Cheatsheet.notesin9.com has the cheat sheets and the demo application, a fake names database. There's lots in the community, lots and lots in the community. It starts with XPages.info and OpenNTF as great sites for shareware and snippets. Collaboration Today is a good news aggregator within the development/XPages section. Stack Overflow, actually it's over 1,200. I should update this slide. 1,200 questions have been asked and answered. One was in as little as 6 minutes, I believe, I did on the last show. So that's a great resource to go to. I've been using it heavily myself lately, and it's just there's a lot of community action there. There's the XPages forum. If you just go to Google for the XPages forum, you'll find that's the DeveloperWorks IBM forum, which I think the activity is kind of increasing there a little bit. So that's a good place to go to, especially if it's not a pure question that doesn't fit on Stack Overflow, but it's more of an idea or something else. That's a great place to go. Okay, so before we get into the main show, I just wanted to talk about this new NotesIn9 event that I'm working on, and it's not going to be as big as the Drive to 99 thing. It's smaller, more intimate. But I'm calling it XPages Mobile Madness. And what I want to do is just get a string of shows together, maybe for a month, depending on how many contributors I get and how many I can come up with on my own, or however long I can go, and just do mobile related. And it's not just mobile controls, though there will be stuff on the built-in mobile controls, but hopefully maybe there'll be something on jQuery or Sencha Touch, Bootstrap. I've been looking at Kendo UI lately. Looks kind of interesting, though it's a paid product. I'd love to get something on Accelerator or PhoneGap. Maybe techniques on debugging, testing with different browsers. I don't know, other mobile stuff, and even just basic. Here's a CSS trick, or HTML, or here's just a client-side JavaScript trick, or something like that. So I can't do all this. I can barely do one of these items, quite honestly. So I'm looking for contributors, and I've polled some of my great contributors, and there did seem to be interest out there. So hopefully I'll get some shows from them. But if you're new and you've not contacted me, or I don't know you, and you're working with mobile, or you're working with one of these or something that I haven't listed, let me know. Even if it's not mobile, quite honestly, let me know. But I'd love to have you on the show and try and get you out there. So I'm still kind of working on the details of this, but my loose goal is to start maybe around April 15th, which most Americans know as Tax Day. So hopefully we'll have something else to look forward to on that day. So that's my intention, and hopefully we'll be able to run for a couple weeks or so. I don't know. I can do a couple shows myself. I've got a couple that have been waiting for me to publish, but I don't have that much. So if you want to contribute, please let me know. Okay, speaking of contributors, I've got a great new contributor today that I'm very excited to get on, and his name is Frederick Norling, and he's an IBM Champion. He's got a great website with some great blog posts at xpagedeveloper.com, and he works at qnova.se, and I believe they've got a product. I don't know too much about qnova. I believe they do some kind of products at business. He's on Twitter, and there's his email. And what he's going to do today is he's going to come and talk about the server-side JavaScript debugger. And we kind of touched on this in episode 99. Dan O'Connor came on and gave us a little demo on this, but Frederik's going to go a lot more in depth on different use case scenarios and using it. And I'm really excited to have this show on, because the debugger for server-side JavaScript or even Java is very similar. Is huge, and it's been a big hole that we haven't had, and now we do. So it's time to start using it. Now this is 9.0 specific, so you do want to be on Notes Domino 9.0 for the social edition, I guess, for this debugger. All right, with that being said, let's go to the demo.
Hello, I'm Fredrik Norling from Canova Systems. I also run the XPageDeveloper.com blog. And today, in my first NotesIn9 show, I'm going to show you the brand new SSJS Debugger for Designer9. So let's move over to the designer. To be able to do local debugging, the first thing you need to do is add a debug configuration. You can actually do server-side debugging also. It's the same setup. The only thing you need to change is that the host is the name or the IP address of the server. You need to add the same lines to notes.ini. Mark these lines, copy them, paste them in at the bottom of notes.ini on your server and on your client. But I would recommend that you use local debugging, because only one developer can connect to the debug thread or task on the server. So if you have multiple developers, you will probably get into a conflict. So local debugging is preferable, and it also inflicts on performance, and also it leaves like a security gap on the server. So local debugging is preferable. Debug local. We press apply and we press close. Oh, I did something wrong here, because I actually have a server on my machine, so I've changed the port to 8001. So close. When you do local debugging, the first thing you need to do is actually do a preview, because you need to start the local HTTP preview engine. So let's do preview. Now it's started. Let's go back. The next thing we need to do is add a breakpoint. We go into source mode. If you like doing it on the keyboard using the you can press Control page down, and you can switch between design and source mode easily. To add a breakpoint, we double click on a row and we get a breakpoint. The next thing we need to do is connect to the debug task locally or on the server. We debug local. It says debug connection created. Now we are ready for our first debug session. So let's press preview again. This is the SSJS Debugger. It's actually a modification of the Java debugger for Eclipse. So if you have done debugging in that, you might have seen this before. I don't actually like this setup that IBM has done, but I usually change this. I close this one because I don't need them. I drag variables down here. I drag breakpoints down here. Like that. And this is all the threads that are running on the server. And if you click on these lines, you will probably get lost. So I move this one up so I don't have to see it, because I'm not interested in that. And I select the variable section here, and if I have resume here to be able to do resume on lines, it will continue the code until the next breakpoint or the debug session ends. We have step into, step over, and step return. That means that if you're in a function, you will step out of that function. So let's press step into. We are moving on, and actually, did you see that the line over here got yellow? That is the last variable that has been changed. So if I continue to move on, you see that the temp string gets yellow, and I move on, and it gets yellow again, and we did push this city into the cities array. And I continue to move down. What I actually also can do is I can change values of simple types like strings and numbers. So I right click, change value, right XPages Developer, and press OK. The value has changed. I can't change arrays and complex types, but the other ones I can change. Continue, and that value got changed in the array, and that is quite nice to be able to change things on runtime. So let's move on. We continue. It's up to 10 we have in this, so it will soon be over. When we're done debugging and the debug session ends, you don't get a message or anything like that. The only thing you get is a blank page. So, but the result is here. And the second value is XPages Developer. So we were able to push our values out from the array here. To be able to go back to source mode in Designer, you can use Window, Open Perspective, Domino Designer, or if you want to use the keyboard, Control F8, you get the perspectives and you can open them, and you get back to source mode in Designer. So let's continue. The next step that we are going to try is debugging using a partial refresh. So in this case, I have a button that's doing events. It's refreshing this panel. The panel has a repeat control that in this case is displaying people. We have a combo box that has some values, that is letters, and we should show what is happening when you're doing debug in partial refresh. So we go down, we move, we add a breakpoint. We don't need to connect to the debug thread again because we are still connected, and this is one of the problems if you would do server-side debugging, because you will hold up that connection until you terminate it or kill your client. So that would be a major issue if you are multiple developers, or if you terminate it and some other developer hooks up on the debug connection, and then you can't debug again. So it would give you problems. Let's do debugging again. We press preview again, and now in our first part here, what happened here is, check this out. I set the breakpoint here, but I ended up here. Why did this happen? Well, that was because when I think it is a bug. It probably is a bug. You have several X pages, and I have done a breakpoint on several of them. So in this case, okay, we get the breakpoint at line 3 here. So the problem is that we got a breakpoint on debug 1 XSP, but it should have stopped on debug 2 XSP. So let's try it again. I will remove all breakpoints. I will press continue, and I ended my session here. Let's close our open. I will press Ctrl F8 to return, and I'll move down and I set another breakpoint, and I press preview again, and now it ended on my breakpoint. So remember, when you stop debugging, clear your breakpoints, or you can actually export them if you want to use them again on a later time. Where were I? Yes. This is the first entry, so we are not that interested in what is happening, because we want to look at when we do partial refresh. So we press resume, and there we go. Now we have presented our first names here. We select A, and we change to B, and we press refresh. The debugger kicks in again. We have the correct place for our breakpoint, but wait a second, we selected B, and it says A here. This is because the debugger will kick in on two stages. The first stage is before the data is updated from the client. So, and the second one is the rendering phase. What I've done is I have a view.isRendering phase, and it says false here. And if I then press resume, then it says true, and the key is B. So in this case, we have the correct phase to be able to check what the data is. It's kind of awkward to do debugging in two steps. So then we have a great little feature in the SSJS Debugger. If you right click on the breakpoint, you select breakpoint properties, then you have enable condition. So if I paste this code in, copy, and I paste it in, this is, I'm trying, I don't want the breakpoint to be activated until view.isRendering phase equals true. So if I press resume, I go into my X page, I change to C, I press refresh, and I get back, and now it says C, and it says true. So this conditional breakpoints can be very, very, very useful, because you can use them to exit your code or break at a loop that says when the user is Burke, then it should exit, or you can say it should exit at line at when x is 10,000. Then you can do, instead of doing next, or doing an if condition that you add just for debug purpose or anything like that, you can use conditional breakpoints. Unfortunately, we don't have this in the LotusScript debugger, but hopefully IBM, please add this. Another great thing that isn't shown by default is if you go to Eclipse views, you have expressions. If I drag it down here, expressions is that you can do evaluation of data at runtime. So I can say I want to see variable 1 plus 10,000, or in this case we can say x. I want an expression that says add expression. I said I want to see x plus 20, and I get 30. It says x 10, I get 30. I can also do like temp string here. I can do like this, add the expression. I can do temp string plus substring 6. I get the last name in this case of the person selected. But you should be aware that this could give you problems, because these expressions is evaluated in the same engine that the code is evaluated in. So you could get a crash or a soft reset or something. So what I usually do is that I add an ordinary try catch around them. So if I do like this, edit, and I paste like a try catch, and I do the same here, and I would return x plus 20 turn. Then I would get the same result or anything, but I get a try catch, so the code won't crash, and you won't get any stability problems within the debugger. So let's continue and see what is happening. Another person will show up. Hello, it says. No, the new person did show up here in our list in expressions. Let's continue moving down and continue. Yes, one last thing to show you before we end this. Up in the task area that I didn't said that you should poke around. If you select the top row here, connected to 8001 localhost, if you have a debug connection and you get some kind of problem, then you can actually terminate the connection to be able to restart it. So if I select this row and I said terminate, now I have terminated my debug session, so I can restart it. And to be able to restart, F8, and you select debug local again, and then I would reconnect to the debug channel, so debug connection successfully. Now I restarted the debug connection. So thank you for watching my show, and my contact information is showing on the screen now, and feel free to contact me through my blog or through my email or at Twitter. And thank you for watching. Bye.
And that's the demo. I thought it was a great job by Frederik. I'm excited that he came on, and I look forward to him coming on again. And if you have any questions for me, here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.